Multiple climate reports released this month are giving dire warnings about the future of our planet in case you need convincing. The United Nations said Tuesday in its annual assessment, this is an important one, the summary findings are bleak, adding that greenhouse gas emissions are still rising dangerously. The United Nations stressing the world's two biggest polluters are China and the United States. They've increased emission levels, reaching record highs in 2018. Important to remember, increasing. We're not going in the right direction at all. Another report released Monday by the World Meteorological Organization warns that carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide levels in Earth's atmosphere reached new highs last year as well. The global average concentration of greenhouse gases reached 407.8 parts per million in 2018. For contrast, by the way, I know that you don't really have these numbers at your disposal, but 2017 was 405.5 parts per million. In early November, a team of over 11,000 scientists representing 153 countries reported that the world is going to face untold suffering due to the climate crisis unless society makes major environmental adjustments. The report noting that there are certain indicators that society must monitor in order to combat this crisis, like population growth, meat consumption, energy consumption, deforestation, and burning fossil fuels. Policymakers have pushed to keep global temperatures from rising 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the century. The 2-degree threshold was established in the Paris Climate Agreement, and it refers to a 2-degree Celsius rise in global temperatures above pre-industrial levels. But the Trump administration, as you know, formally withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement earlier this month, making the United States the only country in the world to not cooperate with that pact. Joining me now is the former EPA Administrator, Gina McCarthy. Gina, we've had this conversation many times. I know you're probably tired of it, but we know this administration is not only not doing enough, but doesn't really even suggest that it wants to do enough to fight this crisis. We know that we are accelerating our impact of fuels and CO2. Can there be a solution? And is there anybody, on deck to be the president of the United States who can actually say, this is important, we've got to do this now?
Well, Allie, thanks for asking the question, because I want people to understand that this is dire news. But of course we can make progress. Of course we can avoid some of the worst damages that we might anticipate if we did nothing. And in the United States, I want people to recognize that, yes, the president has abandoned his responsibility, both internationally and domestically, to protect us, our health, and our kids' future. But that means that what we see is we see governors, we see cities stepping up. People are getting anxious. You see young people taking to the streets. You see parents getting worried about the future of their kids. And we see renewable energy taking off despite the actions of this president. So there are some signs in the U.S. that things are changing, and we know things have to change. And we do have solutions today that if we banded together and we embrace those, we would buy us time for the innovation that we need moving forward.
I want to just
Of course, the United States is now seen as outside the loop internationally, and it's embarrassing to all of us.
Let's take
but it's
a look
not the end of the story.
I want to show our viewers some images. Earth in 1912 compared to 2018. The reason this is relevant, these are temperatures, this shows a global warming of less than 1 degree Celsius, and you look at the difference in the hot spots. So at this point, there was a report that came out that says global temperatures right now are on course for a 3 to 5 degrees Celsius rise in this century. Gina, this is quite possibly the biggest thing we are all going to contend with.
Yeah, I actually think it is. It impacts everything, every facet of our life. And really, it's not about the health of the planet and the pictures that you're showing. It's about our health today, which is already being impacted, and our ability to deliver on our moral responsibility to hand our kids a healthy and more just and sustainable future. So you're right, it is alarming. But we have to take that alarm and use it not to make us bury our heads in the sand, but to make ourselves move forward. Allie, this is Thanksgiving. We have to be hopeful. We have to work together. I am seeing presidential candidates where each and every one of them has a climate plan. A few years ago, you would be anxious to see one question asked in a debate about climate, not just a climate debate, one of which you helped to moderate. These are changing times. We need to embrace the challenge. We need to move forward. We see the world gathering next week to firm up some of the more frameworks that we have to do to actually move forward on the Paris Agreement. So if we can think tomorrow about talking to our kids about climate change, of recognizing and thanking them for pushing us, and give them a hug.
I think that's
Tell
a
them
good
we're going to
point.
do everything we can to hand them a good future.
All right. That is a valid point. Let's give thanks to the young people who, like you and like a lot of other people, have made this a priority for all of us. Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.